For the first time in almost 20 years, Arsenal are once again on a spotlight, fighting for the Premier League gold. A huge credit goes to their boss, Mikel Arteta, who made it all work. How the Spanish coach manages this incredible team, what makes it special, and why being an Arsenal fan is now one of the most exciting things possible. Let's talk about all mentioned points in a second. Subscribe to the Football Club channel and let's get going! No doubt, Arsene Wenger era left a significant mark on Arsenal's style, associating the club with combination football, a large number of goals scored, and beautiful performances of the squad. Mikel Arteta managed to play under Wenger and then worked in Pep Guardiola's staff at Manchester City for over 3 years. Consequently, the Gunners' bosses understood that by hiring Arteta, they would definitely get something close to the original style, which Arsenal so desperately needed. Of course, there was a lot of doubt and criticism about this appointment. First of all, this was the first top-level experience for Mikel as a head coach. But the bosses still went for it, and they're finally beginning to reap the benefits of their decision. By the way, we would like to note an interesting moment from the day Arteta got appointed Arsenal boss. The Gunners made a now typical behind-the-scenes video of the newly minted coach's first day and posted it on the club's YouTube channel. Mikel, while greeting the staff and colleagues, not only shook their hands, but constantly repeated to them, "You're gonna have a lot of work to do." Let's not forget Arteta's arrival to Arsenal on December 20th, 2019 and triumph at the FA Cup right in the first campaign. This gave both the team and the coach more confidence, although the Gunners took only the 8th spot in the league standings. However, apart from winning the cup, not much went well in other aspects. The team's lineup did not match the ambitions of returning to the Champions League, so there were no noticeable results in the Premier League. The long, hard work of rebuilding the team as a whole was on. The biggest crisis for Arteta's Arsenal came in the first half of the 2020-21 season. Then, between September 28th to December 19th, the Gunners suffered 8 defeats in 12 EPL fixtures, with only 2 victories. Here, the club bosses should be respected for continuing to believe in the manager and not hastily sacking him. It wouldn't have lasted long in Chelsea though. With all that said, Arteta deserves praise for not deviating from his style and standing his ground even in tough times, even when suffering defeat after defeat. It's this dedication that helped Mikel achieve the results we are seeing now. Admit it, no one will be able to force him to change his vector of work at this point. How Arteta and his team made up a roster which is currently tearing everyone apart in the Premier League is a separate topic. Here, one should know the coach's ability to plan for several years ahead and not make purchases in order to solve short-term issues. The first 2.5 years were used for dropping ballast and squad performers who will not help Arteta in the future of 3 to 5 years, as well as to gather the needed footballers for eventual forming a future dream team. Therefore, little by little, such characters as David Luiz, Shkodran Mustafi, Mesut Ozil, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and others left the Gunners camp. Meanwhile, Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Magalhaes and Martin Odegaard joined the first team. Last season, Arteta's sufficiently updated squad began to show the sprouts of the game the coach so wanted to see in the first place. Only a defeat to Newcastle United in the penultimate match week took the club away from the 4th place and Champions League qualification zone. For some, it became obvious that in order to overcome the last obstacle on the way to the football elite, the team is missing the final pieces of the puzzle. And the last summer transfer campaign was almost the perfect opportunity to fill the missing gaps. Firstly, William Saliba returned from loan and nailed the center of defense. Secondly, Alexander Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus, who moved in from Man City, not only closed problematic on-pitch roles, but also brought the necessary championship experience. So, with pieces coming together, Arteta's plan finally started to shine bright. What is even more amazing, the roster is not showing even half of its full potential. Let's move on to the most interesting point. What is Mikel Arteta's team in a nutshell? Throughout the last couple of years, The Spaniard often experimented with lineup and game formations. He did it not because he had nothing to fear. There were simply not enough quality performers. Thus, it was often necessary to adapt to the opponent's style. Injuries also mess things up from time to time. Now that Arteta has the right players and enough squad depth, he is capable of providing stability. This season, Mikel uses the 4-2-3-1 formation in all games. The starting 11 is visible clear as day. The main goalkeeping choice is Aaron Ramsdale. Ben White is on the right in defense, Alexander Zinchenko on the left, Gabriel and William Saliba in the center. Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey are responsible for the defensive midfield area. On the attacking wings we have Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka. Behind the striker is the newly minted captain Martin Odegaard, and Gabriel Jesus takes the role of a centre forward. Arsenal's approach becomes similar to 2-3-5. The following maneuvers can be seen. Xhaka and Odegaard join the attacking line of three strikers and fill the half spaces. The fullbacks, Zinchenko and White, form the midfield line alongside Partey. Interestingly enough, attackers have the freedom to change positions on the pitch, which is exactly what Arteta needs. Saka, Jesus and Martinelli are doing it on a permanent basis. These became possible thanks to the presence of Gabi Jesus. This makes just one of countless advantages the ex-Man City striker gives the team. Jesus has become incredibly versatile under Guardiola, and now Arteta is using his best qualities to the fullest. Mikel is no stranger to instill ball possession and high-pressing principles. Here's when Zinchenko and White come into play. The abilities of both allow to play the role of central midfielders during attacks. Let's not forget that Zinchenko used to be a midfielder and has all the necessary skills to get the job done. On the other hand, White spent part of his career in the defensive midfielder zone, thus he knows how to give an accurate pass. Therefore, Arteta has the ability to keep the midfield compact without losing attacking potential. Even in the case of losing the ball, the players' density in the middle and in the attack allows them to immediately go for tackling. The latest fixture against Tottenham Hotspur, which the Gunners confidently won with a score of 3-1, can be called a perfect example in terms of demonstrating the quality of the game. These sides approached the North London Derby in optimal formations and as league leaders. Spurs have been undefeated up to that day. The first thing Arteta did was to instruct his players to press the opponents high when they advance the ball in their half of the pitch, including goal kicks. Countless lads play the ball in their box more often than all the Premier League teams, and the Gunners used this detail for attacking attempts, pressing with 5 players at once. Such a trick resulted in either Lloris having to kick the ball far away, where Arteta's men constantly created a numerical advantage of 5 against 3, taking the ball back. Arsenal controlled the game most of the time except for 15 minutes at the end of the first half. In this period, Spurs were able to equalize after Thomas Partey opened the scoreline in the 20th minute. Tottenham hardly pressed during the match and had a poor display in the defensive block. In such performances, Bukayo Saka plays a huge role in Arsenal, and he should be noted separately. Bukayo is considered the best of all team players who is able to create killing chances, and Spurs could not find how to respond to such a weapon. It was he who was involved in both the first and second accurate shots against Tottenham. With this victory in the back, Arsenal have 21 points in 8 match weeks, occupying the Premier League top spot, ahead of even mightyful Man City with a mad Norwegian Erling Haaland. Gunners supporters can be incredibly excited and finally looking forward to the team's next fixture. Sure thing, they can be understood. Arteta is building up something special at the Emirates, and it's very interesting to put an eye on. Why not dream of a long-awaited league gold after all? Write in the comments below where Arsenal will finish the season and whether the Gunners can compete for the title or not. On this note, we are to say goodbye, but not for long. Take care and see you soon!